Hey guys, good evening. Welcome in. I tell you, I am so super excited. Let me clear that out of there. We are back for the first virtual flight deck broadcast, not only of 2026, but my gosh, how long's it's been? It's been a year or so, hasn't it? Yeah, I think I think we got to get some of the bugs out of the machine here, but everything looks. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. It's good to see you guys. Welcome in. Yeah, I want to get back to doing this, Mike. I'd like to do it about once a month. That's at the very least. So if that meets with you and CST, and we're welcoming a brand new face into the group tonight. Super glad to have Charlie 31. My good friend Craig
Always
is
good to
along.
be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you. I want you to tell the group a little bit about yourself, what you want to share here on YouTube and that sort of thing. We do have a chat window going already. Want to say hello to Yoham there and, well, CST Flight Deck's in the chat. And there's Charlie 31 in the chat as well. So we'll start out with a bang here. But anyway, Craig, welcome. You live stream here on YouTube as Charlie 31 and do some really great work with the VR headset. Really impressed with what you do. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get started tonight.
I have the same old aviation story everybody else does. Loved aviation as a kid, got into it, became a pilot in the 90s, and then life got in the way. I ended up getting up jobs in aviation, and right now I'm 26 years at Denver Airport as a airport operations manager. So that's just my career. And then for giggles, I've always been into the flight sim. Like everybody says, I'll remember the old monochrome green freaking MS flight simulator back in the 80s that I fell in love with, and flying the Red Baron triplane around. I could see those mountains on the side there, all 4 meters of them. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I tell you that'll be kind of a fun way to start the night out and to kind of get back into it is for all of us to kind of share a little bit like Craig just did then about what got us started in this. Now, I'm kind of the oddball out, and then Mike, I'm going to come to you in CST because I am a radio broadcaster. I have been doing this since I was 15 years old. Started at WFLI in Chattanooga, Tennessee, as a top 40 disc jockey back in the mid 70s, and really didn't have any aspirations of flying or piloting or any of that kind of thing. But as I got older, I got more fascinated with it. I had a friend of mine take me up in the traffic helicopter here in Denver one time and got to cruise around Denver while the guy was doing his traffic reports. And they had me sitting in the left-hand seat. And the guy says, "You want to give it a try?" And I said, "Okay, sure." And so he let me fly it around at about 1,000 feet altitude over the Denver freeways. And from that moment on, my interest really got peaked up. And yeah, Craig, I did the same thing with remember the old first flight simulators. The ones I actually used were simply wire green. You had triangular mountains.
yeah.
You had a runway that kind of stretched off almost into infinity. And I started with that, and of course came up through the Microsoft Flight Simulator ranks, all the way back to Windows 98.
Oh yeah.
So can date myself a little bit that way. So, and my love for aviation has just grown. I'm too old to really get into being a real pilot. And I'll tell you right now, guys, the flight simulation equipment and computers and software that we have access to, it's like anything. You can spend as much on a hobby as you want, but it's the next best thing to me to being there. I go up in real airplanes and I do this, but believe it or not, Mike, and you'll get a kick out of this. You remember last year I got to do the 737
Yeah.
Boeing simulator out at the training center here in Denver. And believe it or not, all I could think about was, man, I can practically do what this thing's doing at home, except for the
Moving
the
around and
motion
stuff.
of
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just incredible. I am hooked. I love this. I love this more, believe it or not. I'll get yelled at for this than my ham radio hobby. Um, and even to some degree, riding the motorcycle, Craig. Don't throw anything at me, but and somebody else who rides and can kind of speak to that a little bit too is CST. CST. So glad to have you here tonight. So glad you could make it. So much to talk to you about, my friend. We're all looking forward to Flight Sim Expo coming up. We'll touch on that a little bit later as well. But tell us and the group and those watching, what it's all about for CST Flight Deck.
I mean, my thing for aviation started with my job. I mean, I've been I was a maintainer for 26 years, so I worked on mostly not mostly, but pretty much all of it was military aviation. So F-18s, S-3s, E-2s, C-2s, um, and last but not least, the EA-6B, which is a military version of the 707. P3s as well, not so much the P8s. I've done I level, O level. So yeah, I've done it all pretty much when it comes to aviation maintenance, from fuel tanks to engines and structural repairs. Um, I've worked from being the maintainer that runs out and does turnarounds, daily inspections, and tire changes, engine changes, you name it, to actually being behind the desk and running the day-to-day maintenance effort and meeting the flight schedules and launching planes off the pointing hand of the flight deck carrier and all that good nonsense. And I had a lot of fun doing it. But come around the 22-year mark, I re-enlisted one more time, and I was like, that's it. Once I hit 26, I'm done. Partially because my mind was telling me yes, but my body was telling me no. You know the good old song. So I had to call it quits.
Don't I know it?
So I had to call it quits with that. So that's my history in the aviation aspect, I guess, if you put it that way. I pretty much did everything when it came to aircraft, multiple platforms, from maintaining to starting up, taxiing, to high power spots or the threshold of the runway, and testing performance at high power settings. The only thing that I never did was take off the aircraft, because I probably would have got arrested. So that's pretty much it. I was qualified taxi and turn up when I was 18 years old. So when I was 18 years old, I would get into an S3, talk to ground, talk to tower, start the aircraft, start it, go to a power spot, and just do high power performance and make sure the airplane, it's like a periodic inspection you do on the aircraft after the engine wash and stuff like that. So yeah, little 18-year-old CST or mellow, getting into a multi-million dollar aircraft and taxing that thing out to the runway, right? And then you're like, really? Yeah, really. It was after about three or 4 years after that, they took the qualification away because somebody ran a plane into a building. So now I was
you,
no
was it?
more. Well, it wasn't me. No, definitely not. So the qualification went from being called taxi turn up, because you taxi and turn up the aircraft, to only turn up. They took the taxi away. So yeah, you can turn the aircraft up, but if you want to taxi the plane to the high power spot, you got to call a pilot and tell them to take you over there. So that's how that happened. It was either calling a pilot or hooking that thing up to a tow tractor and dragging it out to the high power spot. So yeah, they took that away, unfortunately. But I've been TFO qualified, so I was qualified to actually. I was not an air crewman per se, but I was qualified to fly in the airplane as a temporary flight officer. So what does that mean? That meant for me that anytime a plane broke down cross country somewhere away from our base station, they stuck me into a plane to go rescue that broken down plane. So
Sure.
it saved money on airline tickets. Instead of paying airline tickets to send me to go fix the plane, they just stuck me in another S3 to fly me out to where the other plane was broken. So yeah, I've done some cool shit. I've done some cool stuff. I've done some crazy stuff in the military. So, like I said, I enjoyed every day of it, and that's really why I do what I do with flight simulation, is because my love for airplanes. So, I'm not privileged enough to be like you though, Jack. I did not get to shake hands with Wilbur and Orville Wright when they started aviation, but I know who they are. So
Oh yeah. Well, you're not that far behind. No, I'm kidding, of course. First of all, Mello, thank you so much for your service and for all that you guys in the military did. And I've always been highly admiring of that, and really thank you, for doing that. Recognize that, and that's important. Mickety Mike and I are kind of the instigators originally of this virtual flight deck thing. And Mike, of course, I don't know how many, you got to be up near Owls now in subscribers, I would think.
Far from.
We've got a lot of guys in the chat. I want to say hello to you in a minute, but first let me introduce to you my good flight sim and buddy here, Mickety Mike. Mike, I'm hoping to get to shake your hand as well as Mello's at Flight Sim Expo this year. Tell us all about Mickety Mike. And congratulations. You've had some neat stuff happen this past year. Congratulations.
Yeah, 2025 was definitely a trying year, definitely, but it was a year full of accomplishments and a year of just learning. It was definitely a year that took me through some ups and downs for sure, but I got married last year finally after being engaged for however long it was. See the picture right up there. It's been a good year, and we've been off to a great start in 2026. The YouTube channel is going where it's going to go. I'm not, like I said, not having any massive expectations out of it, but if the door ever opens, then I'll walk through it and see what goes from there. Definitely not anywhere near Owls. I mean, I think Owls almost at 52,000 subscribers that guy's at. Like, it's
Holy
absolutely
smokes.
Incredible. But quickly, chat, appreciate you guys all tuning in tonight for yet a long past due episode of the Virtual Flight Deck podcast. I think the last one we did, Jack, was 11 months ago, give or take. It was almost a year ago.
Yeah, it was almost a year.
But we got Mr. Dewan, Tom Webbo's in the house. We got Eamon, SoCal Snoopy. We got Mr. Flying with Even Bone Aviation. Rich's World is in the house. Richard is definitely someone I want to bring on this podcast, being he's a Gulfstream pilot. Definitely talk about the corporate world and stuff like that. Av3 at 9 on, but I think that's how you say that name. I'm not sure. Aviation Bros is here. We got EDP. Eamon is here. Scrugger. CST's in the chat. What's up, CST? How are you doing? Beanie Aviation is here. We got Owls. Owls, where are you? You joining or what? What's up? Are you too important for us, Mr. 50K? Mr. David Landry's here. We got Dom, Mastro, Pipeplot, and a bunch of others that are here. Guys, I'm not entirely sure why the stream output is at 720p. I think YouTube will up it to what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure why that is. I'll have to look into that a little bit later. But thank you guys for tuning in for yet another episode of the Virtual Flight Deck, where we talk everything flight sim, and speaking with Charlie 31 and CST Flight Deck about what's been going on. But yeah, Jack, I appreciate you. I know you've been working your tail off the last year too, traveling to and about doing your radio stuff. So it's good to be back. I'm really looking forward to the conversation tonight and what we're going to be talking about. So
yeah, well, let's jump right into it. I want to say hello to the folks in my chat, including moderator Yoham YT. Yoham, welcome. Good to see you. Tyler Rocks is in here. Let's see, there's Dominic as well in there. Thanks for hitting both of those guys. Sure appreciate it. Graham in Scotland. Graham is always here for my streams. I really appreciate you in here, mate. AJ Fernari, hey, buddy, good to see you tonight. Let's get into this. We'll try to catch everybody in the chat. AJ, I did see that you put a question in there, and Aiden767 says the goats all in one session. Love it. There you go. That's pretty good. Guys, let's talk about it. 2024 has had a year to mature. It's had a year. It's out. I'm even on it. I was kind of yelling and screaming and kicking my feet to not go there because I had 2020 running so well. And I took about 3 weeks once I installed 2024. And it only took me about that long to get everything back where I want it. Now I'm working on some of the fine tuning with the frame rates and just making it look as good as it possibly can. I'm a broadcast engineer. I tend to tinker and fool with things, even when it's running well. And then I go back and say, why did I do that? I just messed up the whole 9 yards. So, anyway, I'm having fun doing all that. But let's talk about 2024. Hey, by the way, Spin Rush RC in Japan. Hey, buddy, good to see you in there tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into this. AJ, I have marked your question. We'll come back to that in just a few minutes. But 2024, everybody's over on it now. How are you seeing it as it's matured? How are you seeing it as it's in the position that it is now? How's it doing? What do you think? Mello, I'm going to start with you. CST Flight Deck. What do you think?
I mean, I was one of the first people actually that moved on to 2024 when it comes to content creators. Everybody was still like, oh no, it's not there yet, whatever. The only thing I was missing 2024 when I first switched over to it was Flow Pro, Chase Plane, and the PMDGs. And at a certain point, I still had both sims installed on the PC. So I said, hey, if I ever have the need to fly the PMDG, then I'll just switch to 2020. But then I quickly went from that to, you know what? I don't need to be flying the PMDG until PMDG comes to 2024. So I just stuck with the iFly when I had the hitch for the Boeing, and I went that route. I loved it, man. It's I think after the first few months, after about the first 5 or 6 months of its release, it quickly got good, right? After about sim update 1 or 2, it was already good. So the CTDs had been resolved. The issue with logging into the server was resolved. And I was having a lot better, a much better experience on 2024 than 2020. 2024 just runs better, man. It's undeniable. So to see this, there's still people out there to this day that for some reason think that 2020 is better than 2024 just blows my mind. But hey, if you want to stick with 2020, then stick with 2020. I'm not here to force you to switch or anything else. It is what it is. But yeah, no, I was, not that I'm bragging, but I was one of the first ones that switched over to 2024 and said goodbye to 2020.
You were. Yep.
And there were still people out there that were like, no, I will not do it until, 2 years from now or whatever. I'm like, why are you killing yourself this way? But anyways, yeah. There's other people that have submitted for refunds, like, a couple of weeks after the sim was out. Didn't even give it a shot, right? We all know that these things start out a certain way. And it might be good in a small tested environment, but once you open up to a huge community, like the flight sim community, and everybody gets in it, now you start to see issues, right? And I think it's good for us to play that part, right? Be involved in the beta testing and sending in trouble calls with issues in the sim, because a lot of stuff that was exposed in the first few months of us being able to be in the sim was something that I don't think they were ever able to recognize in their small environment of testing, right? So I think that's part of our job, is to make the sim better as well as enjoy it and take advantage of it. So yeah,
so many of us using it and being able to report even on a daily basis some of the things we're finding with it, always a good thing. Craig, what do you think? Charlie 31, your thoughts on 2024 after a year?
Well, and that's so I was right there. I wanted to switch over as soon as it came out. I knew we were going to have some growing pains, some teething. But since a majority of my flying is done in VR, it absolutely tanked my system. I've got a decent system. It's not super high end or anything like that, but coming out of the gates and kind of being that beta state without actually being in beta really kind of just sort of interfered with the VR, and it wasn't optimized for VR right out the gate. So it probably wasn't until about Sim Update 3 that it started becoming a little more viable for the VR aspect of it to start to really shine. And I mean, there's a lot of different things that we have to deal with when we're flying in VR. I use a mouse and a bunch of other peripherals to help me fly that aren't necessarily the same as 99. Well, I'll give it 90% of the rest of the Microsoft flight simming population. So it was really tough coming out of the gate. And then when Sim Update 4 came out, it was a huge improvement for VR, for the graphics, for the system to be operating, and just like CST said, I mean, it ran better. It still runs better than 2020, even in VR now that it's out. But the VR really kind of held me back up until about really Sim Update 4 before I could start really looking at coming over to 24 full time. So I still have 2020 installed. I haven't flown it probably in 2 months. So I am getting to that point where I think of course we got the update last week with the new beta, and I'm like, God darn it. But yeah, I think I'm about ready to dump 2020 off the hard drive and fully commit to the 2024. I think they're making a lot of headway. I think they're doing a lot of great things with the sim. It is working better. It is smoother. A lot of the PMDGs has been pulled over. A lot of the aircraft are getting caught up to 24. So that's why right now is a great time to be getting into 24. But like CST said, if you've got 2020, you're flying 2020 and you're happy with it, stay with it. It's fun. It's what you can do, what you got, and play with what you got, and you'll be good.
Yeah, and maybe some people can't make that jump right now, whether it be their system, maybe finances, whatever the case may be. So Craig, you and Mello both said you do not have 2020 on your system at this point. I don't either. That was going to be a question I was going to ask. I did get rid of it, comfortable enough with 2024 and everything going on with it now. Got all my peripherals working. All that's good. Mike, how about you? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I just recently uninstalled 2020 from my system. I want to say about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I uninstalled 2020. I'm still on the up and up with 2024. I'm optimistic about what the sim is going to be in the next, fiscal year. I think more on my end, and massive shout out to CST and his IT guys in his Discord, but they finally got my system running to a point where I'm no longer frustrated when I launch the sim to try and get a stream in and stuff like that, because issues with my computer was what was keeping me from wanting to jump on 2024, and that's why I stayed with 2020 for so long, is because it worked, right? And unfortunately, I think this year is just going to be the year where I'm just going to have to rip the band-aid off and get rid of the old components of my computer and do a fresh build with all new parts and stuff like that, because last year I rebuilt my computer and put a couple of new parts in here and there, but it's like taking a blown engine out of a 90s Honda Civic and throwing it into a Cadillac CST today, right? It's just it's definitely something that's going to have to happen, right? Sim Update 4 beta was definitely the update that I needed to the simulator for it to be a comfortable move to where I can say I'm confident in the abilities of the simulator, even though I still have some gripes with it about why it looks as bad as it does on my stream's end versus what I see on my physical screen. But that all has to do with my computer's hardware and OBS settings and stuff like that just aren't gelling well enough with one another. So that's why this year is definitely going to be the year where I'm going to have to rip the Band-Aid off and spend some money to actually continue the production value of the YouTube channel, to be able to get the sim to at least look up to my standards, right? Everybody in my chat says it looks fine, but in my standards, I'm like, no, I'm not happy with this, right? But I'm happy with what 2024 is coming to be, man. The sim looks absolutely beautiful. You don't need to run 1,000 mods for it to look good, just like we did with 2020 with, Rex Atmos and Reshade and et cetera, et cetera. Base 2024 looks good. Now, I know a lot of guys that run those types of things, but that's what makes them happy. It's the things that they enjoy. So, allow them to do that. And, I run Rex Atmos Core every once in a while because Rex is a partner of the channel and they sent the product over to me. And I do mess with some presets and different things here to see kind of like what I love seeing people's artistic eyes for the sim, right? Because one person's sim might look entirely different to somebody else's. And that's kind of why I still have those things installed. But yeah, I mean, we're coming up there with the lineup of aircraft, and PMDG is bringing their planes over, which I'm sure that's going to be a conversation tonight about PMDG and their 7-3 lineup, etc. But you know, that's we got some stuff to talk about, man, and I'm happy that 2024 is on the up and up. We're kind of at a bit of a stalemate, you know. It's always that time of year where, you know, not a lot of stuff is releasing, and you know, there's not really too much excitement about the sim right now. It's just kind of load up, fly what you want to fly, and go from there. But man, 2026 is gonna be a good year for the sim, so I'm really looking forward to. We got some phenomenal products that are coming out, whether it's in the sim or peripheral wise, from different companies that are really going to make the sim even that more immersive, you know. So 2024 is my full-time sim, and I'm going to be sticking with it until it tells me otherwise. I do have X-Plane 12 though, Jack. I did get X-Plane 12 back on my system, and I jump on that every once in a while to get my 7.5 and 7.6 fix in when I need to. And X-Plane is actually on the up and up as well, man. 12.4 looks phenomenal, and you know, they're starting to really kind of dive into like what the community needs to, or wants and expects from a flight simulation development team, right? So I think Laminar Research is doing the right thing too. They're just still, in my opinion, behind the ball. So we'll see what happens. Chat, I apologize. I just realized what's going on with my stream and why it's only showing at 720p max right now, and that's when I created a new scene in OBS for this podcast tonight. For some reason, it downscaled my resolution in the settings, and I am not able to edit that until the stream is over, or I'd have to restart the stream in order for that to be fixed. So next time, that will be fixed over. But I got a couple of other things. Mr. JJ Stevens, Jack, wanted me to tell you, he was a... let me find it. He was a radio program director and morning show director for 30 years, and he still does it.
Nice.
He says broadcast engineers are what keep them in radio and TV shows alive. Much respect for you, Jack, coming from Mr. JJ Stevens in my chat.
Thank you.
Mr. Southwest Pilot, hope you're doing well. Hazar is here. Appreciate you stopping in. Welcome. Avian Jordan, welcome. Hoping Microsoft can fix the clouds soon. I disagree. I think 2024 clouds look phenomenal. Probably the best clouds we have in any simulator. The only thing I want to see is a little bit more immersion when you're flying through the clouds. I kind of want to see that type of stuff, you know. But Kyron, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you stopping in. Welcome. But yeah, guys, but that's to answer your question there, Jack. You know, 2024 is definitely going to be the full-time sim going forward.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of things in my chat. AJ says he still has 2020 installed. Spinrush RC says, I think it's about getting your money's worth. 2024 is better. I think it's when you got 2020. Let's see. I'm having to decipher a little bit. Let's see. Make the leap. Some people may make the leap when DDR and CPU prices are favorable. And right now, that's most definitely a big deal. Boy, I don't know. It's well, with all the tariffs and everything we have going on, but that's a whole nother subject. Hopefully, those prices will come down eventually. And let's talk about some of the finer points of 2024 real quick. Optimizing the system. What are you seeing as far as stutters? Are you happy with the frame rates? I'm learning so much these days. I am running Sim Update 5 Beta, and I've been really, really happy with the improvement that it made. So, Craig, you've got a big smile going on there. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. What version are you guys on at this point? Are you happy with the performance overall? Are you doing any kind of sim maintenance? Are you doing any kind of, like I said, I was doing a lot of tweaking, that sort of thing. What do you think in that regard with 2024? Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, that was, you and I went flying last week, and I'm like, yeah, I took some weird update today. And this is kind of my little gripe with Microsoft is if they're going to do an update to a beta, I think it would be nice if they'd say, hey, here's a beta coming out. Maybe you might want to pause this and then add it later or something like that before just blast your system. But when you and I flew that night, we had a great flight. I noticed the sim felt and more fluid, a lot more dynamic, and everything was nice. But at the same time, coming out of it, I did notice, and this is the realities of flying in VR sometimes, is you get some stutters, you get some steps when you're coming in on your approach. Those are all things that you kind of get used to. But back to if Microsoft had let us know that, hey, or given you that opportunity rather than, here we are on the time crunch. We're going to come out and go do a flight. Oh, I took an update, so I just installed it and then I went flying with you. If I'd have been able to like come back later after and put that in that update in, it would have been better, because I like to do the DX, the GL, the scenery deletions, and let the system rebuild those. I also like Island Sim Pilot. I like to have my community file renamed so that when the update gets installed, it doesn't cause all kinds of chaos with things. I've seen that happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm flying Sim Update 5 Beta 1. It seems much more fluid. Some of the sort of less in development aircraft, like the MD-11, which I love, has a couple of little issues with it. Nothing huge, but they're things that will be addressed once the developer has an opportunity to play with the beta. But beyond that, I'm on Sim Update 5 Beta 1. It's smooth. It's reasonable. I'm not having any crash to desktop or WASM failures that I've had in past. But no, I'm pretty happy with Sim Update 5 Beta 1.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. All the way over around. Guys, both on my stream and Mickey Mike's stream, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that thumbs up button for us, please. We definitely appreciate that. CST, what do you think? What's the latest version that you're running right now? I think you may have mentioned this before, but if you wouldn't mind, touch back, because I got old man brain. I can't remember if I asked you.
Yeah, I got CRS as well. I'm not gonna say what it is because. No, I'm on Sim Update 4. I haven't switched to 5 because Chase Plane doesn't work on Sim Update 5 beta. So I'm waiting for Parallel 42 to get the result. Once they do, then I'll be happy to try the beta. But I'm not one of those people. Like, there's a lot of people that are scared to up in the beta. I'm not one of those guys. If there's something new, I'm waiting for it to try it. So I'll up on it. I'll try it because I'm in the opinion of, just like when you're taking a bath. If the water is too hot, make it colder. You can always go back.
Yeah.
So if you go to 7
I like that analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if don't get burned, make the water colder. It's you go to 7.5 beta and you're having issues, CTDs, whatever the case may be, go back.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Go back to 7.4. You're done. Just wait a few more months or wait a few more weeks until they resolve whatever issue you're having. But the thing is, I've said it numerous times during my streams too. Like, Flow Pro and Chase Plane, is it a requirement? It's definitely not a requirement. To me, it's a luxury, and it's a luxury that I cannot do without anymore. I am spoiled by Chase Plane. I'm spoiled by Flow Pro, and I've been waiting for it for a long time to make it into 2024. And now that I have it, I'm not going to lose it by going to Sim Update 5 beta just to try it out. So I'm happy waiting until that gets resolved. As far as performance, I'm never happy with performance. I'm always and maybe I should be, but I'm always tinkering. I'm always trying to figure out what can I do to make it better. What can I do? And I will say that when it comes to performance and optimizing your simulator for better performance, I'm probably the dumbest person in the room. Okay, because if you look at my settings, I cannot turn them up any farther than I can. Like, everything is blasted to ultra, everything is blasted all the way out. Terrain level detail is a 400, object level detail is 200. I run my sim everything to the max, right? And I tell myself I have a good CPU, I got a 4090, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do that. And then I complain about starters. Oh, why is it starting? Or why is it doing this? And yada, yada, yada. So
yeah,
fortunately, I'm able to run it this way with I guess what I'm trying to say is my sim could run a lot smoother if I was to optimize it, rather than, hey, I have a Ferrari, so I'm going to drive it at 200 miles an hour.
120 miles. Yeah.
Maybe, yes, you have a Ferrari. Why don't we just chill at 60 miles an hour instead of pedal to the metal the whole time, right? So I'm that guy, right? I want to get as much as I can out of it. As of today, I've been able to do it. But it comes at cost, right? You're always trying to figure out, what can I do to make it better? So I don't know. Maybe I need to chill out with the settings and stuff. Like, the other thing with the sim that irritates me somewhat is, I'll give you an example. For example, today I did like 5 flights in the sim. I was running great performance. I was running great frame rates. And then for some reason, the last flight I did of the day, which was the stream, my performance degraded, right? And it's like, how do I go from being good to sucking all of a sudden? Like, how do I go from simming yesterday and having a great experience, and then I get up the next day, you start everything up, and now it's like, I just lost 30 frames. What the hell just happened? You know, so there's so many variables. That's like when a lot of people ask me in the chat, like, hey, CST, what can I do to make this? Dude, there's so many things. It's hard to troubleshoot what's going on with your system, right? It could be a Windows update. It could be a driver issue. It could be your sim is corrupted. It could be something you're running in the background. It could be something your computer is doing in the background without you even knowing. Kind of like what I found out with my system recently with this Intel virtualization technology that's taking up valuable resources in the background. So who would have never thought of that, right? I would have never thought of it. If it wasn't for one of my members, I would have never thought, well, you know what? Let me go into my BIOS and try to disable the settings and see what happens. Like, I would have never done that, right? But he has experience. He had experience with this sort of stuff, not related to flight simulation, related to actually his job. And he said, hey, I had an issue where this particular setting was taking up valuable resources and disabling, freed up all the CPU overhead space, making whatever you're running, whether it's a flight simulator or anything else, take more advantage of the ad space that just got freed up. So it's going to run better. And lo and behold, it is. I mean, I disabled their settings. And again, results may vary with different people, but disabling the setting for me did wonders, right? I went from 40, 50 FPS with a 350 to 120 FPS with a 350. So it's insane, right? Now, is it going to stay that way? I don't know. As of right now, we're good, but we'll see. It could change overnight, right? Windows could push an update, and next thing you know, now something is not playing well together, right? And you got to try and figure out what it is. Should we have to do that? I don't think we should. I think Microsoft and Asobo should try and figure out how to make the sim play well with the systems. But I don't know, man. It's a huge sim, right? It's hard for them as well to try and figure certain things out. So I don't know. I think 2024 is in a much better state today than 2020 will ever be, obviously, at this point. But I'm having fun with it, man. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing. The complexity of these systems is just, beyond comprehension. Can you imagine if you could print out on a piece of paper all the program lines and the code?
Oh God, thousands of lines of code.
Yeah. Can you even imagine? Mike, version and what do you think? And then I've got some questions in my chat over here. Go ahead.
I got some questions over here too. I'm currently still on Sim Update 4, simply because just for the content creation aspect of things, there are still some airplanes that I fly on a regular basis that are not compatible with Sim Update 5 beta. So I'm very much so, and this is how I was on 2020 as well, is I give that beta some time to kind of lay its feet in the ground before I swap to it. And Sim Update 4 is running fine for me, and to attest to what CST was saying, it could be one thing on your system that is just causing unfathomable, let's say that 5 times fast, amount of issues on your system that you would have never thought, right? Like, so for example, I was in CST's Discord, I want to say, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, CST, and one of his IT guys were messing around on my computer, and we found out that my RAM was not running at its peak. It wasn't even running at like a third of its performance capability. So once we finally found that issue and adjusted it to what it can run, I loaded up into the sim, and I saw probably a 40 to 50% performance increase just by that one setting, right? So that's my biggest issue with flight simming in its entirety, is just the complexity of like why it takes so much time to find one minute issue that could be causing your sim to not run at its peak. And it's still, to this, I mean, I'm still not running the best performance right now. On my screen, I see 120 frames with frame generation, but on my YouTube side of things, they might be seeing 40 to 50, So I'm definitely hoping that Microsoft and Asobo can iron out those details within the next few sim updates to where we're not seeing the VRAM degradation with graphics cards and the intensity of graphics cards having issues running the sim because of VRAM restrictions and stuff like that. Like, for example, prior to the graphics card that I put in the computer now, which is a 5070 Ti at 16 gigs, I had a 4070 at 12 gigs. And you would think, and you hear 4070 and you're like, oh, that's a good graphics card, right? But then you run into the sim and you're like, I'm running like 20, 30 frames per second right now, and I can't seem to get past a memory usage issue here. So I had to spend $1,000 to upgrade to a 5070 Ti just to be comfortable with the sim. And that was even on the 4070. That was running it on low graphics, man. It wasn't running at ultra or high. I was medium to low graphics on literally everything. So it's definitely an interesting aspect, and I'm hoping that Microsoft and Asobo can just put their thinking caps back on and be like, what can we do to resolve this? And unfortunately, I think a lot of the issue has to do with the streaming stuff that they're doing, streaming all the scenery into the sim and streaming all the aircrafts and stuff like that. It's just, there's unnecessary resources being utilized in the background during your simming time that is being streamed into the sim that you're not necessarily using, right? So I'm hoping that's something that can be fixed. I know you can download the sim and you can download all the extra stuff and install it into your simulator so it's no longer being streamed, but it's like, I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to spend the time to install 300, 400, 500 plus gigabytes worth of stuff in order for my sim to run at least at a capable sense of performance, right? So over in my chat,
I actually tried that, Mike.
Yeah, I remember you tried that, and you saw no difference.
It didn't make a difference.
Yeah. So I got a couple of questions that are kind of off topic in reference to some stuff that are coming out for the simulator here in the next couple of months, Jack, if you want to jump into that, or if you have another talking point that you want to bring up.
No, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Mr. Brady Margison says, are you guys excited to have a Learjet 75 in the sim, and are there any other business jets or corporate GA aircraft you'd like to see? That's a great question, Brady, and this will bring me up to my next topic, Jack, because I don't think I've talked to you about it, and I don't know if you're aware of it, but I am in the process of developing with a large team of people that have joined in voluntarily to do this with me, of creating a corporate jet virtual airline that will kind of replicate what JSX does. It's a Part 135 type airline that's going to bring corporate aviation to the flight simulator,
Nice.
So
yeah.
There are a lot of good business jets coming out, Brady, and I'm super excited. You guys know I love business jets. I don't fly them enough on stream. I should do it more. But the Lear 75 is going to be a great addition to the sim. I think the Lear 35 that we have right now is a bit of a beast to fly because it's just old aviation, right? But having a Learjet in the sim with modern avionics and stuff like that is going to be really cool. But we have the C680, or the Citation Sovereign, as you know, by Skyward Simulations, coming out hopefully very soon. They're coming very, very close. And the Phenom 300 by FS Reborn, that should be coming out very soon. Now, Jack, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these planes or any of these developers, but you got to check out some of their stuff, man. These planes are going to be phenomenal. I am so excited for them, and they're going to be great additions to the virtual airline fleet. So
I still haven't flown that airplane I won on your stream that night, so
yeah.
I still got to do that. Yeah.
They're great planes, man. There's a bit more of a challenge to flying corporate aviation than there is just flying, a 7.3 or a 320, right? Because you're flying an aircraft that can propel you into the air at 5,000-6,000 foot per minute on a light load. It's something that can get ahead of you very quick, and something you have to be really on top of while you're flying. But I'm looking forward to it. There are a lot of good business jets that are coming out, man. And unfortunately, there are some business jets that are not coming out that I desperately want in the simulator. But due to licensing reasons, the real world manufacturer of the airplane will not allow it to be developed for the sim. So, is FS-22?
Mike, the other one is like the Falcon 8X.
Yes, by Contrail.
I've been waiting for that thing forever.
Yeah. Contrail's doing the FA-50, and then PMDG, I believe, is doing a Falcon 8X as well, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Or if am I mistaken on that?
The Aerobasket 8X.
Oh, Aerobask, that's right. Yeah, Aerobask. Yeah, that's right.
But it's still like 2 years behind.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, Jack, we're making or developing a corporate aviation virtual airline that the name will be announced shortly upon release and launch of the airline. We're trying to get the logistics of things. Still have some things that we're talking about, whether it's fleet, name, call sign, etc. So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be our own identity. We're not replicating any real world stuff. It's gonna be our identity. We're gonna have our own way of operating things, creating our own website, developing our own ACAR system and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to open up a challenging door for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that just don't fly corporate aviation enough, in my opinion. And it's a amazing part of aviation, with airplanes that are just a dream to fly. So
in your spare time, right?
yeah. Luckily, I've got a good team behind me. I've got a good team behind me that are working in the background.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Spin Rush RC just a little while back said, please tell this young generation how good they got it. I come from MSFX. I purchased tons of add-ons. Now everything is linked so smoothly. That is absolutely true. Yoham YT says, what do you guys think of dual engine starts?
Oh my gosh, Yoham.
So did
you want a real answer?
All right. Here we go. Remember, it's almost a family type show. No,
I mean, if you want a real answer, we can give you a real answer. But I know why he's asking the question, because he's a milk jug. But hey, if you enjoy stressing the APU, maybe watching your electrical and pneumatic loads spike for fun,
dual engine star.
Yo, Ham, stop it.
I mean, there's a reason why most SOPs in the world do not promote dual engine starts, right? Because they cause all kinds of issues. It's a situational thing, right? The dual engine starts are permitted in certain situations, right? If maybe the aircraft is late and they need to start both engines at the same time so they get off the ground quicker. It's not something that they do all the time. So, because if anything, it puts more stress on the APU and it degrades the APU with time. So you don't want to constantly do dual engine starts. But
Here,
that's the real answer.
That's the real answer. Yeah. Let's go to this question. AJ asked, favorite GA aircraft. Does anybody fly prop aircraft?
Oh yeah.
I do. I like the God. Why is it escaping me now? It just went the Piper Aero 3. Honestly and truly, love that airplane. And while it's not a small GA, you guys know I like to stream the DC-3. The DC-3 is just so much fun. It's so much hands-on flying. It's not like an Airbus. You press the up-down button and the Airbus flies. The DC-3, you got to keep a lot of hands-on. What do you guys think about that?
I've never personally flown the DC-3. I believe that's a bit beyond my scope of knowledge when it comes to flying, to be quite honest with you. But recently there was a Black Square released the Bonanza and Beechcraft Professional, which I have to say are absolutely, in my personal opinion, some of the best turboprop aircrafts you can have in the sim. And if you don't have it and you pair that with like the GTN 750 add-ons from like TDS and stuff like that, it is just a phenomenal piece of equipment to have in the sim, because every once in a while I just want to jump into the sim and do patterns at an airport and kind of just refresh my my memory on my muscle memory on GA flying from my days as a student pilot. It just brings back good memories doing that kind of stuff, So that's definitely, Jack, if you're trying to get into GA and turboprop flying, it's a bit of a hefty price tag for the bundle. You get three variants per airplane, so you get 3 of the Beechcraft and 3 of the Bonanza. So for $70, you're getting 6 airplanes. So it's a great add-on to the simulator. I did a couple of streams in them, and it's a lot of fun.
Craig, how about you? GA aircraft at all?
Yeah, right now it's all about the Starship. I love that airplane by Black Square.
Yep.
It is so much fun to fly. Takes me back to my days of my student flying, just getting my license and everything else. I mean, I remember looking at that airplane going, that thing is so futuristic. There's no way that's just amazing. So, but and then you always have your, hop into the TBM or something like that, and you just enjoy it. So just go for a quick run somewhere.
Yeah, I did a flight and a live stream too last week of the TBM 930 from Milan to Innsbruck and back to Milan. I was having some troubles with the autopilot, but we got it figured out and had fun. CST, how about you, buddy? Any GA prop aircraft in your repertoire? I can't even say that tonight.
No,
In your Hank?
I mean, for fun, I've done it in the past. It's not my go-to. Prop has never been my go-to thing. I'm more of
Sure.
the airliner type of guy, so that's what I do the most. Now, is it because I don't like props? No, that's not it. It's just I don't know. I just don't
Sure. Yeah.
don't fancy doing it. It's to. I guess the best way I could put this is to fly in a prop lane when I can fly into a airliner is kind of like watching paint dry to me. So I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't.
Gotcha. Hey, no worries. I want to talk about sceneries a little bit. Some of the sceneries in 24, some of the add-on sceneries, some of the compatibility of the old sceneries that you may have downloaded off Flight Sim TO. I got to tell you, I'm having a lot of great luck with that. I'm using a lot Flight Sim TO sceneries that I downloaded for 2020, and they're coming across on 2024 real well. Let's see. David Landry says, okay, out of the sceneries that you've been or that have developed for 2024 or X-Plane, what are your favorite add-on scenery packs airports you've used? So, guys, there you go. There's a question. Craig, what do you think?
Well, so I use the AnyBuilds JFK is probably one of my favorite airports right now. I used to love to fly in and out of JFK in 2020, but that airport was kind of a disaster. You'd stutter and all kinds of weird things would happen. And then when I made the move over and they straightened out JFK, it's just a fun airport to fly in and out of now. What used to be just like a hog on your system resources isn't as bad anymore. So flying in and out of Boston, JFK, any of the Eastern Seaboard airports is a whole lot more fun now. So, but like you, I've had a lot of luck with the Flight Sim TO sceneries that I downloaded for 2020. And this is where add-on linkers is so amazing to work with, is because you're able to, if it doesn't work, you can just knock it out of there. It's not something you have to dig out. But yeah, you're able to move over from 2020 to 24, even though it's not necessarily saying supported in Flight Sim TO yet. Maybe the developer hasn't had a chance to get in and look at it, but you can make it and it works, and it works well. So there's a lot of options out there. They're all great options.
Yeah, absolutely. CST, what about you?
The thing that I would say when it comes to scenery, if you do spend money on scenery, I would focus on what area do you fly the most. So obviously, North Americans, we tend to stick to North America. Europeans do the same. They tend to stick to Europe and stuff like that. And then once you figure out, okay, this is the area that I'm going to focus the most, I'm going to do most of my flying in, then I will go by, instead of going by scenery, individual scenery, I will probably consider looking at what developers do the best job with sceneries, right? Because we all know there's a bunch of scenery developers that you definitely want to stay away from or think twice before giving them money. So do your homework, do your research. There's top developers, and then there's mid-tier developers, and then there's developers you want to run away from. So keep that in mind. But some of the safe ones, obviously, AnyBuilds, Vertical Sim, Flightbeam, Xcoder, all those are good, reliable scenery developers. And then you have one-hit wonders. You got your Flight Tampas and you got your FS Dream Team that will release a scenery. It's great, but don't update it for 15 years afterwards. So we're stuck with a Chicago, for example, ORD that's impossible to taxi into because it's outdated by what? I would say a good 6 to 7 years. It hasn't been updated. Taxiways are wrong, so on and so forth, right? So definitely do your homework before you spend money on the scenery. That's all I would say.
Yeah.
Sure. What about you, Mike?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a scenery in mind that just recently released that I actually have been thoroughly enjoying, and there have been a lot of varying opinions on this scenery about its quality and stuff like that. But the Any Builds Dallas Fort Worth that just released, in my personal opinion, is a phenomenal scenery. And it's an airport that we've needed in a simulator for so long that to be properly done. And now, will I say it's perfect? By no means. I don't think any scenery that releases for the simulator is perfect. But I will say, out of all of the DFW sceneries that have come out for the simulator since 2020, and with them doing it as a standalone scenery for 2020 and 2024, or what's a handcrafted scenery, is what I'm saying. I think the scenery is phenomenal, man. I've been really enjoying flying it as of recent, specifically because I am based out of Dallas Fort Worth with American Virtual, so I do a lot of flying in and out of that airport, and I've been like desperately trying to or desperately been wanting a quality DFW. And Any Builds dropping this, I think, has really done they've really done a good job. I've heard some opinions that it's not really that good, or the handcrafted one is better, and this, that, the third, which I think is just a bunch of malarkey. I just think people can never really truly be happy with something. But in my opinion, the Any Builds DFW is fantastic. So hopefully in some updates we'll start seeing like the true DFW feel and look, with all the clutter and the grease on the buildings and stuff like that. But I think that's just kind of a limitation with how massive that airport is. I think in the back end they were thinking performance over quality. But you look at the D gates, the Delta gates at DFW, and the interior of that terminal that they did. I think they did a really good job. So I've been really thoroughly enjoying that. And Vertical Sim just released West Palm Beach for Florida yesterday, and I flew into it yesterday, did a giveaway. I flew into it with CST this afternoon, and that's also another phenomenal scenery that has just released. He's done all of the corporate FBOs such as Jet Aviation, Signature, and Atlantic, and they all have interiors. They're all interiorly modeled. The entire passenger terminal, is modeled for the commercial side of things, and it's a beautiful airport. And I really think he did a fantastic job. When it comes to the details, I think that's probably one of the best sceneries that have released this year so far.
Very cool. That brings me to another point. And one of the things that I was concerned about when I was going to go over to 2020 and held off for a while was the fact is all this money that I spent on this scenery in the marketplace going to transfer over to 2024. And so when I installed 2024, they weren't there, and I waited a few hours and they still weren't there. And they've changed their marketplace. I think they call it marketplace now, and I'm blanking on what it was called before. It's amazing how I can't remember one thing 5 minutes later these days. But it wasn't there. So me and a buddy of mine who wanted me to come over to 2024, he told me about opening a ticket with the Microsoft people, with the Asobo people, and I opened that ticket. I sent an email, and 2 hours later, I had an answer back from the guy, and I thought this is going to take a week. But he had gone in, and he indeed saw that all of the stuff that I had bought was there, and he ported it over, and it all of a sudden appeared in my 2024 marketplace. And the thing that I don't like, sorry guys, I'm a little clogged up. The thing that I don't like about this new marketplace is it's a little squirrely on how you have to download it and install it.
Yeah.
And it sometimes seems like I have to do this 2 or 3 times. What kind of experience are you guys having, with some of this stuff? With once again, you spent all this money in 2020 on nice scenery airports. I've got Boise, I've got the airports in Dallas. I've got so many airports that I had bought in 2020 and downloaded, and they ran great, and I had to have them ported over. What kind of experience are you guys having with some of that? Craig, are you doing any of that kind of thing?
Well, 2020 taught me not to buy anything out of the marketplace as best you can. Because as soon as it gets updated in the real world, it takes another 6 months for Microsoft to allow it to be updated on the marketplace. So for the most part, I've only got a couple things in the marketplace. It's been pretty reasonable, just pulling those things over and downloading and installing. So I haven't really run into any significant issues with sceneries being brought over from 2020 into 24 marketplace. So
Okay. CSC, have you done any of that when you originally installed 2024? Did you bring any of your payware stuff from the marketplace or the store, I believe it was called, in 2020?
No, fortunately, from day one, I knew that marketplace was not an option for me. So the only two items I have from marketplace is the Kodiak and the Flat FX BizJet. I
Citation,
forget what is
yeah.
it, the Citation,
C750. Yeah.
because that's the only place you can get them at. That's it. So
Yeah.
that's the only two aircraft that I've gotten on the marketplace. Other than that, everything I either buy straight from the developers
Okay.
or any builds, Contrail, and all the various Aerosoft One, all the various places, the Orbex, all the various places you can get sceneries and airplanes and stuff like that from is my sources. So yeah,
you guys have
I don't
probably
mess with the
sold me on
marketplace.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Mike, did you do any of that, or
Well,
what's your
like
story?
like CST and Craig, I avoid the marketplace like the plague personally. And it's not that the marketplace is bad, but I agree with Craig. Very, it takes ages for stuff to get updated on the marketplace. Ages, because you have a third party developer. Let's just use PMDG as an example, right? Their updates are gonna push to their product third party wise directly when the update comes out, and then they have to send the update to Asobo or Microsoft, and then they have to upload that update to the marketplace, right? Which is why I avoid buying stuff off of the marketplace. But like CST, I have a few things such as the Flight FX Citation and a couple of their products and so on and so forth from there. But a vast majority of the stuff that I purchase is direct from the vendor. So if it's like vertical sim stuff, if it's on Contrail's website, I'm buying it from Contrail. If it's on Orbix, I'm going to buy it from Orbix. If it's from Sim Market, I'm going to buy it from Sim Market, stuff like that. I use the third party development stores more than I will ever use marketplace, because I just don't like that Microsoft and Asobo have control over the files once it gets sent from the developer in order for the update to get pushed out. So that's my personal opinion, and my personal recommendation to most people is, if any builds releases a scenery, buy it from any builds. Don't buy it from anybody else, and vice versa with Contrail. If you know that MK Studios, Vertical Sim, Flight Sim Studios, so on and so forth, are directly in contact and contracted with Contrail, buy their stuff from Contrail, because as soon as an update is pushed, it's going to be on that store within an hour, 2 maybe. It's there pretty quick. So that's just my personal opinion. I have a couple of things. Equal Sign Music says, seeing how Asobo has been handling Flight Sim 2024 in general, i.e. updates, support, features, etc., what do you guys think of them making a flight simulator for Microsoft in the future? Bit of an interesting...
That's an interesting question.
It's an interesting question.
Well, it's probably, if it goes back to the norm, it's probably going to happen every 4 years. They're going to make a new flight simulator. So, I mean, they were in the market for a long time before, and then they stopped for about a decade or so. I think they didn't make a flight simulator.
Yeah,
and then
I think it was longer than that, right?
2020, probably longer than that. A few years more, 12, 13 years, something like that. Anyways, I figure that's when X-Plane should have taken the ball and ran with it, but they didn't. They just staggered. I think that's they are to literally like blame themselves for not taking over the flight simulation market, because they could have done so much more than what they've done. But honestly, what I think X-Plane ended up doing is, hey, we're the only ones in the market. We're literally the only people that we got the monopoly. So, hey, let's just flatline. Let's just keep it the way it is and just keep cashing in, right? Instead of making it better. That could have been decades ahead of Microsoft by now, but they didn't do it. Now, let's not forget about X-Plane, because X-Plane 12 is in a very good place right now. So that it's getting a lot better. So in my Microsoft, will they be there in the future? It all depends. Who's next? Who's coming in next to blow that competition out of the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the next person that's going to take over flight simulation is the next company that's going to do it better than Microsoft and X-Plane, right? Until Microsoft and X-Plane have the monopoly on this field, then nobody else is going to be able to do it. I think potentially Microsoft is going to be always end up on top because they're a lot richer than X-Plane. Let's face it.
Yeah.
A lot richer than they have a lot more capital than good old what do you call it?
Laminar.
Not X-Plane. Laminar Research, right?
What do you guys think? What do you guys think X-Plane 12 in this case should do to put themselves in a more competitive, even keel, say, with
I think they're doing it.
Flight Simulator?
I think they're doing it already. It's just taking a little longer because of what I just said. They don't have the capital. They don't have the amount of people working on the project that Microsoft has.
Sure.
And Asobo, right? So it's taking a bit longer, but you can see clearly that X-Plane 12 from last year is not the same X-Plane 12 that we have now. I mean, it has come a long way, and it's just going to continue to get better. Now, the other reason why Microsoft is always going to be on top, in my opinion, is because they're smart. You know, they're capturing the gaming aspect.
Yeah.
By throwing the simulator on Xbox and PlayStation, right? And in a way, we gotta thank Microsoft and Asobo for doing that. Otherwise, we'd still be a little niche community that nobody knows about, right?
Yeah.
Because until Microsoft came and brought flight simulation into the Xbox, not very many people were flight simming except the all forts like us, right?
Yeah.
Now you got all this youngin getting into aviation and getting into flight simulation and all the good stuff because they found out there's a such thing, right? And now you got, you know, I've met so many people in my community that went from having an Xbox to meeting us to getting a PC, and now they're flying on VetSim, and some of them, you know, kind of like owls, are now PPL holders. You know, that it's all great stuff when you think about it, right? You go, the flight simulation exposed you to this hobby, and then became a reality, right? So, yeah, I honestly think Microsoft and Asobo are going to be doing this for a few decades, unless something else comes along. But I don't think X-Plane is ever going to, unless they pull something out of the hat, I don't think X-Plane is ever going to be able to compete, unless they really do some magic. But we'll see. Never say never.
Never say never, because do you think that if X-Plane had integrated the scenery, the real world scenery in like Microsoft has done, do you think that would have made a difference in the market?
It's coming. They're working on that. Horto, they're working on that already.
Yeah.
So it's coming. It's just taking them a lot longer. See, Laminar Research doesn't have the benefit like Microsoft. Microsoft already has Bing and Big Macs. Right? They don't have to pay for it. Laminar has got to go and pay somebody to give them that service, right? So it's a little harder for them to do, but it's coming. So, and like I said, it's just getting better, right? I remember the way the clouds looked, the lighting and everything else. I mean, X-Plane was, I remember the first time I ever loaded up X-Plane, I was like, what is this? This looks like Roblox, right? It was absolutely horrible, right? But like I said, it's come a long way to the point where, you know, just like Mike, I probably did that a while before he did. I've already reinstalled X-Plane. In my opinion, when it comes to Airbus, the Phoenix can't even touch the Tolus. The Tolus is miles ahead of the Phoenix when it comes to flight model and physics and systems. It's just 1,000 times better, right? And that's any Tolus, 320, 319, 321, Neo, CEO. It's just that much better. So, you know, it's the fact that now we have a developer like Tolus getting their hands in Microsoft just excites me, because that if they do it right, Phoenix and other Airbus developers right now should be scared, right? Because if they do it right and they bring their stuff on the Microsoft side of the house, I don't think I will ever be touching a Phoenix or an FS Lab airplane again in my life. It's gonna be tallest. But it's gonna take a long time because right now the only thing they're working on is a 340 and maybe in the future a 330. So we'll see how that goes.
What do you think, Craig?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jack. I think when X-Plane 12 and Microsoft 2020 came out, both had sort of horrible graphics. I remember flying into Cairo in 2020 going, this is terrible. Went back over to X-Plane and I was flying the Zebo 737 then, but then you still had sort of that paint roller terrain below you as you're flying through Europe or Africa or whatever. And I just now X-Plane 12 is just, I mean, a lot of the environmental lighting is light years beyond what we have in Microsoft, because Microsoft seems to be a little bit on the maybe cartoonish side or sort of exaggerated or animated side, is to put it. Whereas a lot of the stuff in X-Plane seems a lot more dialed in as far as environmental aspects of lighting, the airfield, the atmosphere, and some of the other things. So like CST said, they're getting there. They don't have a lot of the resources that Microsoft has. So I'm always going to probably be bouncing between X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Sim for my flight sim entertainment, just simply because that way you can help push Microsoft more by going over and showing your support at X-Plane, letting them do what they need to do to get things up. And then Microsoft goes, oh, wait, look, X-Plane's doing something really cool right here. How do we do that so we can regain some of that opinion from our user base, and stop them from hemorrhaging over to the X-Plane side of the show. So I think they're both great sims. I used to love P3D, but that's kind of fallen way back there. So I do think it's kind of a two-horse show right now between X-Plane and Microsoft, with Microsoft just, they are the powerhouse. They are the dominant factor out here.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, guys, Spin Rush, yeah, RC, I'm sorry. Yeah, there it is. I lost it there for a minute. Wanted to ask, what about platforms like Sony PlayStation? Do you foresee the sim coming in any good big way to that, Mike? What do you think?
It's going to be difficult for Microsoft and Asobo to make that a possibility, just because of the limitations of the console, right? You think of the hardware that we have in our computers, right? With the graphics cards, the processors, the RAM, the motherboards, et cetera, et cetera. It would have to take, so Microsoft and Sony would have to make a beefy console for it to...
It's already on PlayStation, guys.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's PlayStation and Xbox compatible. I think what did PlayStation, it got launched on PlayStation, last month, right? Or December-ish kind of time, something like that.
Yeah.
But for it to look anywhere near close to what we can get it to look like on our computers, that's up to Sony and Microsoft to create the console for it to be able to do that kind of stuff. That's not something that Microsoft or Asobo will have control over when it comes to what they can give to the consoles. Now, unfortunately, there's some massive hardware limitations when it comes to that stuff, right? So now, to point off of what CST said, I think it has done a number for the community, for Microsoft bringing this over to the console place, or the console world, because there were people that might not have been, or might not be as fortunate to have a $3,500 computer setup, right? Or whatever the computer setup cost may be. And it's just easier to go to Best Buy or whoever to buy a $300-400 console and have the video games that you want to have, right? So I think they're already in a good position now, because if you look at some of the... I personally get some screenshots posted in my Discord from people that fly on Xbox or the PlayStation that look phenomenal. You know, it looks really, really good for what it is able to be done, you know, but you don't have the issues that you have on computers with the console. You know, the simulator is made for the console to run optimally, and you don't have to edit anything in reference to settings and etc. You just load up and go. So I definitely think that it's a good thing. I know there was some controversy about it coming to console and stuff like that, but I mean, who cares? It's someone that might not be able to have the type of setups that we have at home.
Yep.
Are now able to join in with us and fly along with us, or not necessarily fly on VATSIM, because that's something that's not ever probably going to happen. But you see like Thrustmaster and Turtle Beach are making Xbox and PlayStation compatible peripherals, so people can plug in a yoke and a throttle quadrant and actually fly the sim on the Xbox with controls, with the exception of just having an Xbox controller. It's awesome. I think it's a phenomenal thing for the community. And I don't see why they would ever stop it. I really hope Microsoft and Sony see the potential for this and say, hey, let's make a little bit of a beefier system that's cost effective for our customers,
Let's talk about PMDG for just a minute.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you my opinion, then let's go around the Hollywood squares here and see what you guys think. I love the PMDG product. I was super glad that the 777 was just simply, get in there, load it in, and it's there. I started thinking about this, and I thought, well, do I want to have to pay extra money for something that I've already paid for? And I thought, it's only going to be $20 when I looked in the PMDG order. And, I wanted to download the 737-800 and the 900. I really don't care about bringing the 700 in again. At least I don't. And I thought, $20, it kind of makes sense. I mean, I imagine that they had to do some changes and some things that they had to do to get it, to where it'll work in the new version sim. However, I am seeing that a lot of people are finding that and arguing the point that PMDG said it was going to be a from the ground up aircraft, start from scratch, line item 1 on the program list, starting completely over. And instead, they've just kind of modified the old 2020 versions for 2024. And then again, too, me being an engineer and understanding how much things cost and how difficult some things can be and how sophisticated the software and everything that we're using here is, I thought, well, $20 for somebody's time to upgrade that for the new sim, I don't know that I have a problem with that, really. So overall, that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Mike, why don't you start out?
I've had this conversation on stream a few times now, and I've been a long-time customer of PMDG. I've had their products since Flight Simulator X. This will be the 3rd time that I have purchased their 737 lineup for the sim. Now, marketing-wise, I understand why they have to do it, because they're the only one that does this aircraft lineup. Right? There's no competition there, and this is just an opinion of mine, and call me out if you think what I'm saying is bullshit, but there's no one competing with them with the exception of iFly. But in my personal opinion, I don't put them two in the same category, because the iFly is a MAX and the PMDG is an NG. It is the older style 737 with the CF engines and the not modern avionics. It's still got a lot of the old stuff from back in the heyday with when the Boeing was really kind of diving into the modern avionics type stuff. I don't put them into them two into the same category, because they're different airplanes in my personal opinion. They might have a 737 fuselage, but they're not, avionics wise, they're different, right? I don't have an issue with the price tag, and I've said this on stream. I don't have an issue with the price tag. Do I think it's a little steep? Yes, especially for those that have purchased the aircraft as many times as I have, from Flight Simulator X to 2020 to now 2024. Little steep. But what I have a problem with is when they said this is going to cost be the price tag of a cup of coffee. I don't know who you are or where you go to drink, but I don't drink $30 cups of coffees, right? I think it was a misleading thing. I think had they been honest and said, hey, if you are a previous customer of ours, the new 7.3 lineup for 2024, those that are previous customers on 2020 are going to get a 60% discount. That'll tell us, okay, well, I'm getting $30 for the 800, $20 for the 900, and probably $20 for the 700. Because unlike a lot of people, I love the 700. It's one of my favorite variants of the 7.3 personally. But I think it was just a little bit of a misleading, and I think that's why the community was disappointed in them, but at the end of the day, you know, call it what it is. This is the only company that's doing a 737 NG right now, and they kind of have the control of that market. You know, they have the control of that monopoly and say, well, I can charge you whatever I want. You're still going to buy it, you know, and the beautiful thing about it is you've got the freedom not to if you don't want to, right? So I was a bit disappointed in that. I think there should have been a little bit more honesty instead of saying, it's just going to cost a cup of coffee. Because in my mind, that put, it's going to be less than $10. You know, I'll pay that, right? But when it came out and said $30 fucking dollars again, why? You know, that's why I was like, yeah, that's disappointing. That's frustrating to me personally. You know, did I still buy it? Absolutely, because it's the 738. You know, it's the one of the most popular aircrafts in real world, and it's one of the most popularly flown aircrafts in the simulator. So, you know, you pair that with the Boris sound pack. I mean, it's a phenomenal airplane, right? Personally. I do understand that they did some stuff in the background. You know, they updated some stuff in the background when it comes to like the pressurization system and the hydraulics and, you know, so on and so forth. But again, what they said with it being a full build from the ground up doesn't necessarily wasn't that, in my personal opinion, right? You know, they fixed a lot of stuff. They did fix a lot of stuff that I'm happy about, like the wing bounce and flexing and stuff like that. That looks much better than it did in 2020. But yeah, there was a level of like, come on, man. You know, that's literally what I said when I logged into my PMDG account. I said, come on, dude. This isn't a cup of coffee. This is $30 freaking dollars, man. You know, and $30 might not be a lot for us, but it's a lot of money for somebody else, you know? It's just, it's a frustrating aspect. You know, I think there just needs to be a level of transparency with these companies saying, hey, we're doing this, but this is what we're going to charge. If you're a previous customer, you're going to get 60% discount. If you're not a previous customer, you have to pay full price. I think the community wouldn't have been as pissed off about that, you know? So that's just my opinion. Will I still be a customer of theirs? Absolutely. You know, but their marketing will not change until there's another competitor coming into the scene and saying, hey, I'm going to do a 737 as well. You know, do we need it? No, because is the PMDG great? Yeah, absolutely. It's a phenomenal product. But until that happens, you know, and PMDG has to kind of go back and rethink their marketing strategy, then, you know, they're going to be able to do what the hell they want. You know, that's just how it is. It's how it's been for 20 years.
Yes, indeed. CST, what say you?
I mean, the only thing I would say is that if you thought that you was going to get a free upgrade from PMDG, then you're new to the hobby. Because I remember ever since I started simming, PMDG has never given anybody anything for free. It's always been a charge. And when it's been a charge, it's not been a $2 or $3 charge. It's been a $30 or more dollar charge. So I was fully expecting it to be $30 or more dollars, even just to upgrade, because PMDG. That's just the way PMDG rolls. The way I look at PMDG, because a lot of people compare them to the other developers. And I will tell you is, tell me which other developer CEO, whether it's Phoenix, Builds, you name me one developer other than PMDG that has his own private jet. Go ahead, I'm winning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why he has a private jet, because he's not giving you crap for free. Okay.
Yep.
I look at PMDG and I think of Mob. Okay. PMDG is literally the mafia of flight simulation. And they're being that. If you guys remember the
Ladies
movie
and gentlemen, you heard that first here.
If you guys remember the movie Goodfellas, you know Jimmy Conway?
Yeah.
When he says, oh, business is bad? F you, pay me. Oh, you had a fire? F you, pay me. Oh, the place got hit by lightning? F you, pay me. That's pretty much what PMDG does, right? You don't have $30 to get an upgrade? F you, pay me.
That is the first time I've heard that
PMDG
analogy.
rolls.
That is such a phenomenal analogy.
So
That works. That works.
That's how it rolls. That's what it is. If you want something from PMDG, you better be ready to open up that wallet, because nothing PMDG gives you is for free. Even if it's a simple port over from 2020 to 2024, you're gonna pay me. They're gonna be like, oh, you think it's just a port over? F you, pay me. It's just the way it is.
Lock the door.
Yeah, there you go. Craig,
You know why?
Craig, how
You know
about
why? You know why? Because that jet that's parked in the tarmac, I need to put some gas in it. That's why you're gonna pay me.
Yeah. They flew it into the to the expo at Providence, man.
Hey,
saw it
You know
sit
what?
right there.
And at the end of the day, just like I tell anybody else, nothing but respect, because he's the only one that has a jet. No one else that's giving you free stuff does.
Okay. I tell you, the one thing I love about you, Mello, is you always know what you think. I really appreciate that.
It's even
No,
better in
you're
person,
awesome, dude.
Jack. It's even better in
Yeah,
person. Wait until you meet him at the
I
expo.
I
Sorry, man, I
cannot
like
I cannot
filters.
wait. I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a
I'll tell you,
grand
Jack.
thing.
At the this came up today while CST was streaming at the expo in Vegas back in 2024. I was driving my Subaru WRX sports car. Had the exhaust, I had rims and wheels on it, suspension, whatever. CST had rode in it a couple of times, man. And then one day out of the expo, my wife had showed up in her car too because a group of us were going out to eat. And CST walks out the Rio, sees me, and my car's wide open, bro. I had nobody inside. And he looks at me. He's like, "I'm gonna ride with your wife, man." And I said, "What?" He's like, "Your car's too stiff, man. She's got a better car. I'm gonna go ride with her." I'm like, "By all means, bro. Do your thing." It's awesome, bro. I love it.
I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Craig, what do you think? What do you think about all things PMDG?
Yeah, I mean, Mike and CST said most of it, but I'm also the generation that had to make the transition from vinyl to cassettes to CDs
Oh,
to
yeah.
digital, and I had to pay for the $20 for the digitally remastered version of my favorite artist, and I mean, that pissed me off then. It still pisses me off here, but I mean, yeah, it's things that you like, so it's the cost of doing business.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was gonna pull up a real record over here. I have a whole pile of LPs over here.
Hey,
It's really
careful,
good.
careful, Jack. A lot of these people in the chat don't even know what that is.
Right.
I
Right.
know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
hey,
You,
Jack,
you put it on there and spin it.
Hey,
Just
Jack,
like,
really quickly.
just like my reference to Goodfellas. A lot of people are like Goodfellas. What the hell
Goodfellas,
is
what
that?
the fuck is that? Hey, Jack, just want to let you know, guys, we have 81 people over here on my side watching this podcast, and I want to thank you guys so
Nice.
much for tuning in with us tonight. If you have not done so already today, either on my side or on Jack's side, please make sure you do subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit the notification bell so you get notified of when this podcast goes live, and make sure you please do smack down the thumbs up button on both mine and Jack's side so that this podcast can get some traction, because the more you hit that button, the more the algorithm will say welcome. So please make sure you do subscribe and hit the like button for both of us here. I think, we got 84 people
we don't count.
concurrently
Don't worry
right
about
now. No, go over to CST's channel and say what's up. I'm just talking about podcast wise, but go ahead and hit CST up as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And by the way, I have put up links to everybody's channel in my chat over here.
Correct, yeah.
Guys, go and hit the buttons for us. Charlie 31, CST Flight Deck, and Mickety Mike.
Yes.
Mike, how long have you been streaming? I'm going to ask you all, how long have you been streaming? I'm almost to the list of my pre-prepped questions, but how long you been streaming now?
I'm coming up on 2.5 years now. I've been on YouTube. It doesn't feel like that, but I'm coming up on 2.5 years. I started I started this channel in September of 2023, so I'm coming up on 2.5, almost at the 3-year mark.
I started in May. I went back and looked at my my streams, and I started in May of 2023. And I don't know if you remember, but you and Al's and CST, when I found his channel, got me through 2 surgeries.
Yeah, I
and
remember
a
you talking
long
about that, yeah.
convalescence time, both shoulder and knee, and now I can throw a football again. So
Yeah.
not that I do, but I can.
Yeah.
And Craig and I met here, probably last summer, I think.
Yeah.
Last summer,
In the
early
spring,
fall.
summer.
Yeah. And he has, in my opinion, just about the best job in the world, because he gets to chase airplanes all day and drive around the tarmac and the runways and everything out at Denver. And he has some really incredible shorts. You guys need to get over to Charlie 31's channel and check out all of his shorts and everything else that he's got on there. And you stream in VR, and it's a lot of fun to watch. It's neat to watch you look around the aircraft. And I don't know, guys, I went over to his house one day and he put me in this thing. And not only do you feel like you're moving, even though you're not, but I keep hitting the mic, but you can stick your head out the window, out the window to the left, and look down the side of the airplane on the ground with the VR. Tell me, first of all, Craig, tell me what you love about the VR as opposed to just regular screen. And then I got a couple of more questions for Mike and CST in that regard. What do you think?
Well, the VR so being a former pilot, being able to look around, like when I have to use my fingers to hit some keypad or something like that, I get a little annoyed trying to look around. Or when I'm looking trying to make my base to final turn, I have it look out the window or something like that. Back in the days of having, your hotkeys and everything else used to just kind of drive me nuts. And so when I did actually finally get a headset, put that on, and being able to freely just look, there it is, just looking out the window. That's all it took. That's what it is. And I mean, I would love to have a full flight deck for simulating on, but of all the airplanes that I like to fly a lot of different airplanes. That would be a whole lot of money to have each one of those flight decks somewhere in my house or doing something like that. So the VR, it's super immersive. Being able to just look, I don't get a crink in my neck or any of the other fun things, but I do lose a lot of stuff with it. Like being able to chat with the chat real intuitively is kind of tough sometimes. But the VR, been in it for about 3-4 years now, and it's a fairly being able to fly all the different airplanes, and right now the helicopters, being able to fly helicopters, night and day difference between
I could imagine
just having it on a 2D screen.
Yeah, so I can imagine VR in a helicopter is just the Lord's gift to flight simulation. I can imagine. I wish I could do VR. I genuinely wish I could do VR because I don't know. You can see right here, I have a full wheel. So I love doing sim racing. Sim racing is something that I do off stream on a regular basis, and VR and sim racing is phenomenal. Just being able to stay on track and just look quickly to your left to see the car that's next to you, that's on your side draft and stuff like that, without having to hit a button on your wheel to look left and stuff like that, could get you squirrely real quick. But VR, unfortunately for me, gives me terrible headaches, and I get ridiculously bad motion sickness in VR. So that's something that I can't do personally. So
And by the way, good night to Graham. Yeah, good night to Graham in Scotland, and CST VR. Have you thought about that? Are you still there? Did he take a break? No, there he is.
Can you hear me? I'm here. I'm taking a break, but I'm still here. So, I've tried VR numerous times. As a matter of fact, in the house between me and my son, we have about 4 VR sets. It's just not my thing because I enjoy the plethora of peripherals that I have, right? So I would lose all of that, pretty much. So I'd rather have that with Tobii Eye Tracker than putting a VR headset on my face and lose everything that I like. I just love to manipulate all, my overhead and my autopilot panels and EFIS and MICDUs and all that good stuff rather than clicking everything. But on the other side, the VR has that aspect of it puts you there. So it's fantastic for those that enjoy it. I just don't. I rather obviously you all know I'm building one, so that's I'd rather have the cockpit than a VR headset. So I've been threatened with divorce a couple times, so we'll see what that ends up being. But I will tell you this right now: if you think it's cheap, it's not cheap. It's somewhat expensive. I'm fortunate enough to where I've had some companies help out, like Wind Control and some others. But I'm already close to $20,000 on it.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. It's going to be beautiful, and I tell you what, dude, Craig and I are going to write.
Yeah, no, the PC alone was close to 7. The PC alone was close to 7,000, just the PC. So that's already half of it. So. And you got to think about all that. The screens, the TVs. If you go projection, it's even more expensive. That's why I ended up going with the 75-inch TVs rather than projections, because I was looking at if I wanted to go projection, I probably would have had to spend another $6,000 to $7,000 just on projector and the curved projection screen and all that. It's just insane.
Expensive.
Right? It's insane.
It is.
But I've started, and it's gonna get done. I'm gonna finish it at this point. It is what it is.
You're already down
I'm,
the
al-
rabbit
I'm
hole,
already
man.
I'm already down a kidney, but I got one left, so we'll see what happens.
Do you
And
do you
that's,
have a
I
projected?
have a couple guys that fly full flight decks, and they are not cheap. One guy, Pat738, he runs 5 different computers, all running 5080s, I think, maybe even 5090s, and that's just in the PCs alone. And he's got the full 737 flight deck. It can drain your wallet really fast.
Oh yeah.
Do you
Yep.
do you have a projected completion date, CST?
Well, the cockpit is pretty much, I could get in and fly it right now if I really wanted to. I just don't. I want to get everything done, right? I want to do the actual shell, the cockpit as well. So I'm working on that right now. And like I was saying before, I want to redo the center pedestal. I like the way it came out, but it can be better. So I'm definitely redoing the center pedestal to make it a little better than where it is now. And
Sure.
you know, it takes, because I'm doing it myself, and I'm not just buying a product that's already done. You know, I could have went to Scholarchy and be like, hey, you know, hook me up. But I like doing stuff for myself, so that's why I went that route. And I didn't want to I didn't want to be tied to the because I did actually call them up, and I talked to Scholarchy, and you're tied to the software. You can't use non-proprietary software. You're tied to the software, and you got to pay them. They're like what I was saying before, good fellas. Oh, you want to fly the sim? Pay me. Yeah, that's just how it is. You got to pay a yearly subscription to Scholarchy to be able to utilize your sim, and I'm not down with that.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Well, guys, I am out of questions for tonight as far as stuff that I had prepared. Anything in particular you want to touch on?
I do
Mike?
have a couple of questions from some people in chat. If we want to open up the panel to the chat, we probably get some questions from the chat here. The first question I got is, what are your guys' thoughts on the FSS E-Jets and their development so far? Quickly, Avi and Jordan, I will start out. Their development has been incredibly drawn out, but I think the aircraft is in a phenomenal state, and I think it's only going to progress from here. You got to remember, the Flight Sim Studios is not a big team, and they don't have a lot of the resources that a lot of people like Phoenix and PMDG and so on and so forth have. So that's why, unfortunately, development has taken so long. But they are pretty transparent about why things have been going the way they've been going. But luckily, in the experimental build that we got now, the aircraft will descend on a VNAV profile and climb on a VNAV profile, and that's what I'm happy about. So personally, I think the E-Jets are going to be probably one of the better add-ons for the sim once they get to version 1. But as of right now, even now, it's a great airplane in my opinion. Jack, Craig, CST, anybody have opinions on that?
I will look forward to that. Yeah, I will really look forward to that. I would love to have a good E-Jet fly. Craig, what do you think?
It's kind of like Mike said, it's a great jet right now. It's a great flying experience. And this is one of the things that I always kind of gets me back is, I mean, when they're in these betas, they don't have VNAV, or they don't have something. The big thing about flying these aircraft is fly the aircraft. Yeah, you might not have all the automation and all the other cool stuff as you're coming through the betas.
Yeah.
So you actually have to fly the airplane, and you do some learning in that. So it's a little different experience than having, say, the fully polished PMDG 7 triple whatever coming in, and it's all automated. You beep beep boop boop and away you go. Being able to get in an airplane, and I mean, you really enjoy the CRJ, Jack, and there is a lot of manual interaction with that aircraft. And as sort of an old timey pilot I kind of like those sort of less than automated things. And so the E-Jets, it's a great airplane. It's a lot of fun right now, and working through some of the things that they're developing is great. So yeah, like Mike said, when 1.0 comes out, it's gonna be a legit little airplane. So
Yeah, and that's genuinely, Craig, what I used to tell my chat prior to the experimental build on the VNAV build is like, if you get this, understand you're buying an experimental airplane, and you are going to have to be very hands-on with it. You're going to have to fly it like the CRJ, because the CRJ doesn't have a VNAV profile, right? You're going to have to make sure that the air traffic controller knows that you're flying an experimental build airplane that can't do holds, can't descend and climb on VNAV profiles, et cetera, et cetera. So as long as you're competent enough to do that, then, you know, you'll have a good time with the plane, because the sounds are phenomenal, the textures are great, the modeling is exquisite in my opinion, and it's a great little jet. It's fun to fly. You can fly it into small airfields, you can fly it into major international airports and not make the air traffic controller want to rip his head out, you know. It's a great little plane, and especially now with what they're doing with the experimental builds that they've got with the VNAV and the custom FMC and all that kind of stuff, I genuinely think it's going to be one of the best regional jets for the sim once 1.0 hits.
DST, what about you?
I've been a fan since day one, and when I bought into it, there were, you know, hate them or love them, they were transparent from the beginning, right? They were selling you an early access, if you will, experimental aircraft that there was no completion date set for it. So it was up to you whether you wanted to buy into it or not, knowing the fact that, you know, it could have very well went nowhere, right? It could have very well, you know, they could have worked on it for a year and then be done with it, and you paid into it, and now you have a you know, FS complete aircraft. And I knew that could have been the fact, but I put my money in it, and I wanted to see this project into fruition, so I contributed to it, and now I'm in the beta, so I got access to the beta, so I get to fly that. Now we supposedly, I haven't tried it yet, but there's a new update now. They implemented olds, so now the aircraft supposedly can do olds. I'm not quite sure. I haven't tried it myself, but they're constantly working on it. So has it been taking a long time? It has. And I mean, haters will hate, right?
Right.
If you, it's just like I've been talking about lately about the FS Labs as well, right? There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Phoenix is the best, and da 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 da. You got all this, the Phoenix fan club. That's great. If that's what if that's the only Airbus you want and the only one you care about, then keep doing that. But only because it's something that you don't know, or it's new, or it's different, it doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
FS Lab is a solid freaking airplane. It's phenomenal. It's in some ways better than the Phoenix. So only because you got blinders on and you can't see that, it doesn't mean that it's not the case. So, you know, give it a shot. You know, that's all I would say about that. Whether it's the FSS E-Jet or the FS Lab or any other things that you might think it's bad because it's different, try it before you knock it, dude. That's all I gotta say about that. And yes, it has taken. There's a lot of frustration on the FSS E-Jets, and they have come a long way, and it's been a long time. And I get the frustration and everything else, but you know, sitting here and bitching about it is not going to fix anything. So you either buy into the project and help the developers out by joining the beta team and pointing out issues. That way they can get to them and fix them, or you just shut up and color and just go fly on the plane. That's the way I look at it, man. And you know, I used to be that person too in the past. I used to be the always bitching person and complaining. And so in the past 3 years that I've been streaming flight simulation, I've done a lot of growing myself. You know, I used to be a little hater when it came to little kids joining vets, and now I'm like, hey man, let them play, let them learn, let them get better, right? If don't block it, just let it happen, dude. Don't.
Well,
if you
now
don't like
Vatsim
it,
says,
if you don't like.
now
Yeah, I
Vatsim
mean, if
says,
you don't
yeah,
like,
right.
if you don't like having the kiddos on VetSim trying to learn, you know, how to you know, manipulate, or out of being in the environment, then don't listen to them. Block them out, dude. You don't have to. Like, I've known people that have quit VetSim. They're like, that's it. I'm not flying VetSim no more because you got all these kids on VetSim. You're an idiot, dude. Like, what?
Yeah.
Get over it.
So you're gonna let that ruin your experience? You're gonna let that affect your hobby? Right? It's totally insane. Like I've totally went a 180 from when I started simming to now. It's way different because I've seen a lot of good things come from stuff like that. So And I've got to meet a lot of developers too that have shown me the behind the curtains, if you will, right? The backstage of what goes into making an airplane or making a scenery. It's not like opening up a bag of chips and start eating Doritos, dude. It takes a lot more than that, right? It takes time, it takes developing, it takes people, it takes skills that unfortunately, you know, you don't go on the internet and find a Microsoft or an X-plane aircraft developer. That's not like something you go to college for, right? That's almost a self-taught process, right? When it comes to coding and stuff like that, you might have a basic knowledge, but you don't just go around the corner and find somebody that can do that type of stuff, right? It's hard to find that type of people, right? That's why a lot of people that are part of PMDG used to be part of something else at first, right? You don't make people, like, it's hard to find people that can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and when you make a legitimate product like a PMDG or a Phoenix or an FS Lab, there's a lot more than just coding and modeling. There is real pilots, there's testing, there is all that stuff. You gotta make the real aircraft system reflect the fake airplane, right? It's not as simple as it seems. So as much as me included, as much as we all complain about, oh, it's been 2, 3, 4 years, what the hell, where's the Phoenix Neos? Well, it's not that simple. So I mean, I'll keep wanting the Neo, so I keep bitching about it. Hey, man, when are these damn Phoenix Neos coming out? But at the same time, I understand, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's not like riding a bicycle, right? It's a lot more into than just that. So
Yeah, it's kind of become the
while-
universal answer in our chats when people ask, "Well, when is this coming? When is this coming? When is this coming?" It's like, bro,
Right.
it'll be here when it gets here. Like, there's nothing we can say or do.
Whenever
It's gonna
it gets
happen,
here.
right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Again, I want to reiterate the fact I've seen what goes on behind the scenes, and to me, when I was looking at the way to actually make the hydraulic system, the pneumatic system, the fuel, it's all different things, all put together in one big bowl, and everything's got to play nice together. Dude, it's insane. To me, when I was looking at it, I was like, is this Japanese? What is this?
Right.
What am I looking at, right? And you don't even have an idea on what goes behind it until somebody shows you. And like I said, I was fortunate enough to actually have a developer literally sharing his screen on Discord and be like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And it's me and 2 other people. That's it. That know anything about this. Like, I can't find nobody else that knows anything about nothing. And it's hard to find people that know how to manipulate all this stuff in the sim environment. And when you do find that one person probably has a day job and he just can't devote 24 hours, 7 days a week to making the hydraulic system for this plane, right? So he can do it on his spare time, and so again, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that go into developing an aircraft like that. And the biggest team, and the one team that is able to develop day in, day out, as you all know, is who?
Any builds?
PMDG. Why? Because they don't give you shit for free. That's why.
I said any builds. I mean, it feels like any builds is popping out freaking scenery after scenery after
Well,
scenery
any
after
builds
scenery.
is the same way.
Yeah.
Any builds is the same way. They don't give you shit for free. You gotta pay for it, dude.
Yeah.
Right? And
CST, you touched on so many good things there. As a matter of fact, there was a question in my chat. What are the opinions on the upcoming FS Labs Neos and the Phoenix Neo? I would think at this point it's more just a wait and see.
Yeah.
Just how good the product is, how it's been developed, how it's released, how it comes out, and does all of that. One thing I've been meaning to throw in here, and I keep forgetting, and I looked down and finally remembered, is Charlie 31 on Thursday night has basically what's called the Thursday Night Flights, a Thursday Night Flight Club. You guys not only need to check out his channel when he's streaming that, but need to jump in there and fly with him and the other guys, Bravo 737. It's a lot of fun, and they do some really neat routes and just all kinds of great stuff on Charlie 31's channel Thursday nights, a Thursday Night Flight Club. And Craig, I'll be there. I'll be there some more if I keep running into my microphone here. I'm going to have to fix that. But wanted to make sure that got out. One airplane, guys, that I do that I want to get back into flying, and I never mastered it, and I'd like to play with it some more, is the ATR turboprop. We were talking
yeah.
about some of those types of aircraft earlier. So anyway, yeah, Mike, you got any more questions in your?
Yeah, I got a good question, pretty simple question here, coming from one of my moderators, Mr. Hell Without Borders. He says, "What corporate jet would you love to see be developed for the sim, minus the Gulfstream? Because we all know that's not going to happen." Well, unfortunately, I think Borders, the universal answer would be the Gulfstream, because it's just such a beautiful jet. But I think a vast majority, in my opinion, are already in development. I think the one that I'm most excited for personally right now is the Bombardier Global that's coming from CJ Simulations. Just having a long-range jet like that, I think, is going to be awesome. So, CST, Jack, or Craig, if there's any business corporate-style jets that you'd like to see for the sim.
You know, like I told you earlier, I got to start flying that plane that I won on your on your light. No, it's a beautiful aircraft. CJ3, right?
Yeah, the CJ3 Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful airplane. I've got it in. I've got it loaded. I need to get in and learn it. But then again, I really, before I do that, I want to master the CRJ. I really want to get that airplane down, both in, when you're landing RNAV and coming in on ILS. Did a stream a couple of 3 weeks ago now with your sim CFI.
Yeah.
We did an entire flight together where he was acting as my flight instructor for that airplane. So it's
awesome.
a longer stream. Yeah. And it was actually kind of fun to have him there, more or less looking over my shoulder and teaching me what to do. And you guys can check out his streams as well. Your Sim CFI, all one word. It's a lot of great stuff that he has on there.
Yep.
Craig, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I flew the crap out of the Phenom 300 in X-Plane, so waiting for that one to come out. That'll be a lot of fun. And then, go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, because I flew the Phenom 300 in X-Plane 11 as well. It's gonna be super interesting to see the Phenom 300 with a G3000 style cockpit versus the G1000 that they had in the X-Plane version of the Phenom. It's gonna be really, really cool to see that, especially because, Jack, I don't know if you know that, but the Phenom 300 is the fastest rated single pilot jet being made right now. It's the fastest jet that can be rated by a single pilot or flown by a single pilot currently in production within the world. So
no, I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
It's a single pilot jet that can fly at airline speeds.
Yep.
Yoham wanted me to mention too, FS Labs hinted at them maybe doing an A320neo on their forums when they announced the update for the A321. The person who posted it had an A320 MSFS owner tag. So we'll see what they get out here. So there you go, guys. Like I said, we're coming up on 2 hours. You want to go on, or I don't have anything else necessarily written down to cover.
I ain't got nothing to do tonight, Jack. The wife is out with some friends, and I'm here. I did have one more question from the chat. In reference to some more corporate style turboprop stuff. Brady says, would you guys like a proper King Air 350 or 360 for the sim? The short answer for me, Brady, is absolutely. The Black Square King Air 350 in Microsoft 2020 was one of my all-time favorite planes to fly within the sim, so I would love to see that come over to 2024 for sure. And I say that simply because the turboprops in Microsoft 2024 by default, they fly very well, but they have a hard time getting up to speed. They don't fly as fast as they are actually rated to fly. So like the King Air C90 that is by default in 2024, I'm only able to get it up to maybe 210 to 220 knots when the aircraft can actually fly maybe 50 knots faster than that. And I've noticed that with all of the GA airplanes within Microsoft 2024, the TBM, the King Air C90, all of that, man. It's unfortunate that is happening, but I really hope Microsoft and Osobo get that together, because in my personal opinion, there is nothing better than a steam gauge King Air 350. This new King Air 350 they have by default in 2024 with the glass cockpit, you can miss me with that. I'm good. I like my steam gauges with the GTN 750 there.
There you go. There you go. Mike, like you in a lot of ways, I tell you, I do tend to stick to more of the commercial airliners, kind of like CST to some degree there. I really hope that sometime sooner or later, love the PMDG 777, love even the Horizon, 787 Dreamliner. I think they did a great job with that. Really, it's not bad. It's fun. I've done, as Craig well knows, I've done a lot of overnight flights where I'll put an airplane in the air at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, go upstairs and sleep in the crew quarters, and then come down at 7, 8, 9 in the morning and land the aircraft. And that's my version of a long haul. But I cannot wait for somebody in, is it Bluebird that's working on a 757?
Yep.
I would love that airplane.
Jack, there's so much I wish I could talk to you about that airplane, but unfortunately I'm legally binded, not able to do so. Oh, who made that CST? What is that?
Oh, that's great. Oh,
That's
that
great.
is terrific.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I love that. I don't know why.
Oh,
I
you
have
got to
such a-
send that. You got to send that to me. That we'll put that up for the next virtual
That's
flight
awesome,
deck.
man.
That is terrific.
But yeah, Jack, the Bluebird 7.5 is, I think, arguably going to be the best add-on. It looks so funny. Why is my chin so wide? Why is my
Keep
chin
that
so
up there
wide?
just a minute. Keep that up there just a
Who
minute.
made that
I gotta-
CST? Is that Yoham or somebody?
It's
I'm
in your
assuming.
VC chat.
Is it?
Yeah, right here in this VC chat. Yohan made it.
Oh, that's
Yoham, of
great.
course. Yoham made it. Love it. But yeah, Jack. The 7.5 is my long lost love of aviation. It's the airplane that made me fall in love with aviation. So we actually, me and CST and a bunch of other people that attended the expo last year actually had the opportunity to fly the Bluebird 7.5 at their booth, and we were sitting there. We were sitting there. We were like, why is this airplane not out yet? Because we thought it was phenomenal, and Shervin from the Bluebird, the CEO, was like, unfortunately, there's just a lot of stuff that we're still working on, the flight management system, all that kind of stuff. And Boris, I hope you know, Boris is the contracted person to do the sounds for that airplane. So it's phenomenal, Jack. You're gonna love it. I'm so looking forward to it. But they're doing it right, and they're delaying it until it's done right, which is what I respect about it. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right, guys. Well, CST, let me go to you here real quick. What do you got going on, and what do you want to let people know about?
I really don't have nothing going on. I just do my thing. I stream when I can. I upload content when I can. My main focus has always been sharing the hobby with like-minded people, and that's about it. Anything else is a bonus. So,
Yeah.
I'm fortunate, and I'm humble enough to admit that I'm in an okay place. YouTube is growing organically. It's not on overload, but it's doing its thing, and I appreciate that. The main thing is the people that enjoy spending time with me and hanging out in Discord and having fun. And it's not all about flight simming when we're in the Discord. It's about hanging out and just picking on each other and having good old fashioned fun. So
Picking on each other
I love
is
that.
using that term lightly. Picking on each other.
Yeah, well, that's what it's about, man. Hanging out, having fun, right? At the end of the day, that's the kind of community I'm trying to build. Really, like I said, YouTube and streaming and all that stuff. That's just a bonus. That's just having fun. So I'm gonna keep doing my thing, and if it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, then I'm good with it. It is what it is.
Yeah. I'm the same way, guy. I'll tell you right now, I love doing this. It's fun. I'm getting to meet wonderful new people. Looking forward, like I said, to shaking your hand, or as we amateur radio operators say, we have an eyeball QSO being the word for contact, and looking forward to shaking your hands at Flight Sim Expo, maybe hanging out a little bit, going to dinner, whatever might present itself. That will be really, really wonderful. I love this hobby, came into it kind of old. I'm 65 now, and, didn't realize, that this was even out there and a thing until I'm laying on my back recuperating from those surgeries. And I came across Al's first, and then Mike came across you, and you two specifically were my inspiration for wanting to start streaming. And as you guys know, I like to do the Captain Jack Rock and Roll radio show at 37,000 feet, and bring kind of just some of my disc jockey roots into that. You guys do the more serious, all the time VATSIM streams and this sort of thing, and I get in there and I forget to turn on the landing lights and forget a thing or two here or there. I don't know if you saw my stream the other night in Milan, but I was, Craig, 500 feet over the runway before I put the landing gear down. You just get a little over, but I do it for fun and I enjoy it. And, one of the things that I think that us four and some other people that are on here have a real opportunity to do is to mentor to that younger crowd who are coming in, maybe getting excited about aviation, maybe getting excited about going into a technical field like computers or engineering or whatever the case may be. And we have an opportunity to mentor them, to help teach them, to help bring younger people along. And, that's always a big goal of mine. And I think we have a unique opportunity to use this medium to maybe reach a few people and help them, start something new that might be exciting in their lives. Look at Al's, young man.
What is this?
Yoham is at work again.
Yoham is just going insane.
I see CST laughing there in the background, and I know he's not laughing at me.
Why did I gain 60 pounds in that photo, Yoham? What the hell, man?
That doesn't even look like me. What is that?
No, Craig, you look like you got a lot older all of a sudden.
I did. Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah,
That's
and,
great,
How did
man.
Mike get like 20 pounds fatter? How did that
That's
happen?
not 20 pounds fat. That's like 60, man. I'm like 300
Oh, don't
pounds,
flatter
man.
yourself, dude. That's only 20. Dude. Come on.
CST looks
Like an
like he's in a
That's
deep-
insane,
yeah,
CST.
deep
Thank you,
simulator.
buddy. Appreciate it.
yeah,
That
Mike,
dude-
you look like an actor from Seinfeld. Or
Oh,
something.
right.
This guy doesn't even look like me, dude. And it says "Wing Yao Wow" on my sweater.
Yeah. Ham, you got way too much going. You got way too much time on your hands.
I don't.
Well,
dude.
Jack,
I don't know that was. This one is good. This is a good one. I like
yeah,
this.
I like that one a lot. Yeah. You don't have $30.
that
Tough.
one's
Pay
good.
me. Yeah, that's a good one.
You don't have
well-
$30? F you, pay me.
Well, Jack, I got a couple of guys in my chat. Mr. Flight Streamer is in the chat. Flight Streamer, the legend himself over on the YouTube short side of thing, man. Phenomenal content creator. Flight Streamer, we're going to have to get you on this podcast one day, man. Just hear about you
Sure.
and what you
Who's
do and all
Flight
that kind of
Streamer?
stuff. Flight Streamer? The Flight Streamer?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but I've been following him for a long time, man. And we got Lotto
I don't
here.
know that guy.
I do got to say, Lotto, man. Lotto has taken off on TikTok. Jack, if you haven't seen, 91,500 followers on TikTok with his live stream and stuff, doing a phenomenal job over on the TikTok side of things. Lotto finally getting that break that he needed for the phenomenal content that he's been doing. So Lotto, big up to you, man. In the words of my good friend, Mr. XP72, big up, big up.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But yeah, guys, it's been a phenomenal podcast, man. It's great to be back
Yeah.
talking to you guys and, doing all the shenanigans that we do and all that kind of stuff. So genuinely appreciate all of you guys for tuning in with us tonight. If you guys have any last minute questions that you'd like us to answer, now would be the time to get them in the chat, because I think we're getting close to calling it quits here, aren't we, Jack?
Yeah, we need to wrap it up. And I want to thank Charlie31, Craig, for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Well, looking forward to more down the line. Like I said, Mike, I think we ought to do, try to do one a month.
Yeah.
Get one a month going on
Yeah.
these things. And I am in a position to be able to do that now. So
Sweet.
got that big project more or less done. And it was an interesting and exhausting 8 months or so, but we're squared away.
CST.
So we'll do that.
JJ Stevens says CST, show biggody Mike again. It's like, bro, I just can't get away. Good God, man. Good
Oh,
Lord.
that's great. That's great. Whoever did all that though, was it Yoham?
It's
The
Yoham.
detail, the detail that, even everything behind is really great. Craig, want to thank you again for joining us tonight at Gate C31 on YouTube here, and the Thursday night flights and everything you guys have got going on. Anything you want to say here before we close out, my friend?
Nah, I just appreciate you guys spend so much time watching you guys stream. Always fun flying with you, Jack. If you guys ever need something, let me know. Hit me up in chat. Hit me up in email. If you've got Jack's phone number, he can give you my phone number as well. So I appreciate meeting you, Mello, Mike. Thanks for having me. And next one, we'll see where we're at.
Yep. Charlie 31, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again, Craig. Appreciate you, my friend. CST, brother, man, it's so good to see you and good to have you in here tonight. I'm glad you could make it. Anything you want to promo up before we call it a night?
Not much, man. Good meeting C31 here. Like I said, I always hear about him on your streams, and you always promote him and all the good stuff. I've seen some of his stuff. The VR. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not big on watching VR, but some people do it better than others. I will tell you that. I've seen some people do VR streams, and it's just a mess. So it takes a certain kind of skills to be able to pull that off. So if it's done right, it's very enjoyable. So, and it's a lot more enjoyable for the person that's in the VR headset. I will tell you that.
It is.
Yeah, it is. So nice meeting you. Always great to meet new people. And it's always fun to do this type of stuff, get together, and have a little bit of fun, talk about some stuff, controversies, and all that good nonsense, and put a little spin on it. But continue to stay safe, have fun, and as always, peace out.
Yeah.
All right, CST. Have a great night, my friend. We'll talk again here soon. CST Flight Deck here on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who come on, everybody's got to know about CST and Mike. And I'm going to continue to do my streams on Monday and Wednesday evenings, 6:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Eastern. I just have fun with it. I play music. I do basically whatever I doggone feel like it. Try to get on VATSIM most nights.
Real quick. I'm sorry to barge in. JJ Stevens is in Mike's chat. He wants to know if you guys want access to the closed beta for the E-Jets. Shoot him a
Oh, you know what? Yeah, he did say that earlier in my chat. I completely spaced to tell you guys bring it up because
so
we got in a
both
conversation.
You, Jack, and C31.
Oh,
JJ over there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead and shoot him a message. He'll get you access to the closed beta for the E-Jets. Always looking for people to test those things out and report issues and stuff like that. So the process just gets a little quicker in that regards.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Captain Jack Flight Sim, CAPNFLT, or where am I? CAPNJACKFLTSIM. I'll try to put some more letters in there sometime sooner or later. Like I said, great to see you guys. I'm so glad we're starting this up again. It's my goal for us to be once a month. I will spearhead it there, Mike. And thanks, guys. God bless you. Remember, Jesus loves you, and Captain Jack loves your show. And we'll see you in the next one here. And Mike, we'll let you take us out as always.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally, after 11 long months away from the Virtual Flight Deck podcast, finally back for episode. This is episode 7. I think logistically, I think this is the 7th episode. So really do appreciate you guys tuning in with us tonight. It was a phenomenal podcast. Had some phenomenal conversations with some amazing people here. Make sure you to head over to Captain Jack on YouTube, Gate Charlie 31 on YouTube, and the legendary CST Flight Deck over on YouTube. Drop a subscription. Make sure you do leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell, and make sure you do like all their content, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button on this stream tonight as well, so this podcast can get some traction in the algorithm of YouTube. But really do appreciate it. As Jack said, we're going to try and do this at least once a month. I saw a couple of comments here about asking if it's on Spotify, Apple, or anything like that. Not as of yet, just YouTube restricted as of right now, but hopefully down the line, Jack, maybe we can get this onto an actual streaming software or podcast software.
I'm going to work on that.
Definitely. So really do appreciate you guys per the freaking usual. If you have not done so already and you are new here, please make sure you do subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit that notification button so you get notified of when I'm going live. And again, most importantly, please make sure you do smash down that thumbs up button, as it is completely free to do so. Helps out our channels tremendously as it pushes our content through the YouTube algorithms out to the rest of the flight sim enthusiasts and the aviation geeks around the world. And if you are not a part of our Discords, please make sure you do find the Discord link on each of our individual channels, and make sure you do join that so you can stay up to date with the content creators and the channels in and of themselves posts. So really do appreciate you guys per the usual. Craig, Charlie31, a legend in my chat. Really do appreciate you tuning in with us and hanging out and having some great conversations. Looking forward to having you back. And we'll go from there, guys. But per the usual, hope you guys stay safe. God bless each and every single one of you. And from the virtual flight deck, y'all, we will see ya.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, yeah.